Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right, so we'll continue our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, chapter 16, 17. So we completed till verse number 4, right? So Srila Prabhupada in the purports, he was describing about how the symptoms of age of Kali is that the Shudra will become the administrator without any proper qualification, and then the Dharma in the form of bull will be, is getting completely contaminated by the contamination of age of Kali. And the third one, he said about the cow, the Mother Earth is being exploited. So that's what we saw. And then let me share my screen. And then in the fourth verse, then we were seeing the qualification of Maharaj Parikshit being the proper leader. He is going to chastise Kali properly, appropriately. And Prabhupada in the purports, he was mentioning nowadays the situation and condition of the leaders. So, but if because of the lack of having leaders like Parikshit Maharaj, we are having difficulties in this age of Kali. So let's continue from verse number 5. Someone wants to read?
I can read, Mataji. Kastvam charane loke baladansi abalambali nara deva asi visena natavat karmana advija. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, who are you? You appear to be strong, and yet you dare kill within my protection those who are helpless. By your dress, you pose yourself to be a godly man king, but by your deeds, you are opposing the principles of the twice-born Kshatriyas. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishnavas are called twice-born because of these higher classes of men. For these higher classes of men, there is one birth by parental conjugation, and there is another birth by cultural rejuvenation, by spiritual initiation from the bona fide Acharya or spiritual master. So the Kshatriya is also twice born like a Brahmana, and his duty is to give protection to the helpless. The Kshatriya king is considered to be the representative of God, to give protection to the helpless and chastise the miscreants. Whenever there are anomalies in this routine work by the administrators, there is an incarnation of the Lord to re-establish the principles of godly kingdom. In the age of Kali, the poor helpless animals, especially the cows, which are meant to receive all sorts of protection from the administrative heads, are killed without restriction. Thus, the administrative heads, under whose noses such things happen, are representatives of God in name only. Such powerful administrators are rulers of the poor citizens by dress or office, but factually they are worthless, lower class men without the cultural assets of the twice-born. No one can expect justice or equality of treatment from once born, especially spiritually uncultured lower class of men. Therefore, in the age of Kali, everyone is unhappy due to the maladministration of the state. The modern human society is not twice born by spiritual culture. Therefore, the people's government by the people who are not twice born must be a government of Kali in which everyone is unhappy. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
So, Maharaj Kali, I'm sorry, Maharaj Parikshit, when he saw this Kali, he appeared very strong, and unfortunately he was hurting the helpless mother cow and bull. So, this is the purport in Srila Prabhupada says this is the representative of these administrators in the age of Kali. They pose as kings, but they're not twice born, so they have not undergone spiritual initiation, and they do not know actually the principles of proper Varnashram dharma or anything. So Sudra becomes an administrator, and they just run the government whimsically as they want for their own purpose, without protecting the cow and the brahmanas and the elderly people, and and then also the helpless animals whom they are supposed to protect, but they are actually the ones who are ordering this killing of these poor animals, and they are representatives of God only in name only, just getting the office, but they're usually but they're actually useless, then they're not for any benefit, and that's the reason why people are unhappy in this cage of Kali, because nobody's twice born.
Yeah. So basically the spiritual inclination is gone. That is the thing. Only everybody is just trying to live on the selfish bodily conception of life. Brahmanical culture is going away. The spirituality is going, God consciousness is going away. So that is what, and Kshatriya means who protects one from harm, right? That is the duty of administrators. But because they are not God conscious, so they are not having that compassion, having that conception of spirit, soul, and body that way. So they are not following the Brahmanical culture at all. Yeah, so this is just what is happening in the age of Kali. So this section is actually is describing what is happening in today's world, like on the administrative platform, what is happening. And without Krishna consciousness, because any kind of maintenance or protection kind of duty, actually it is coming from Krishna basically, right? And if one is not following it, then it will be all disturbed completely, right? That is what Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport. All right, so let's move on. Yasvam Krishne gate duram saha gandiv dhanvana shocho asi asochan rahasi praharan vadham arhasi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You rogue, do you dare beat an innocent cow? Because Lord Krishna and Arjuna, the carrier of Gandiva bow, are out of sight? Since you are beating the innocent in the secluded place, you are considered a culprit and therefore deserve to be killed. In a civilization where God is conspicuously banished and there is no devotee warrior like Arjun, the associates of the age of Kali take advantage of this lawless kingdom and arrange to kill innocent animals like the cow in secluded slaughterhouses. Such murderers of animals stand to be condemned to death by the order of a pious king like Maharaj Parikshit. For a pious king, the culprit who kills an animal in a secluded place is punishable by the death penalty, exactly like a murderer who kills an innocent child in a secluded place. So basically, the protector, we know that the 6 limbs of surrender, one of them is protection. Krishna is my maintainer, Krishna is my protector, right? So if we don't have such leaders, then this is what is going to happen. Then unnecessarily killing of innocent animals and innocent public will have will happen. That is what here, just like exactly like murderer who kills an innocent child in a secluded place. So basically, and I remember reading in the earlier purports where Srila Prabhupada, when he was describing about the qualities of Parikshit Maharaj in earlier chapters, there Srila Prabhupada writes that it's not only the human beings but the animals, so the citizens. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's move on.
I can read, Mataji.
Yeah, sure.
Neha Mataji, are you reading or I am reading?
No, Mataji, go ahead. You read. I'll do the next one.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Tvamva mranala dhavala adira nayunah padacharan rasarupena kim kasit devo naha parikhedayan. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Then he, Maharaj Pariksit, asked the bull, "Oh, who are you? Are you a bull as a white lotus, or are you a demigod? You have lost three of your legs and are moving on only one. Are you some demigod causing us grief in the bone from of a bull?" Purpose. At least up to the time of Maharaj Pariksit, no one could imagine the wretched conditions of the cow and the bull. Maharaj Pariksit therefore was astonished to see such a horrible scene. He inquired whether the bull was not a demigod, assuming such a wretched condition to indicate the future of the cow and the bull. Very good.
Yeah, Mataji.
Yeah, so Maharaj Pariksit again, he was his kingdom was very nice and everyone is protected, but still now when he was astonished when he saw this scene of the bull, and he was thinking, oh, this is any kind of demigod or cow or what is that?
Yeah. So basically, it was not means he couldn't imagine that this kind of situation can happen in his rule, that there can be somebody who can create such kind of situation for the bull and the cow, right? So this was astonishing for him. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next verse.
Hare Krishna. Na jatu korvendranam do danda parir ambite bhutale nuktanti asmin vinate praninam shucha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now, for the first time in a kingdom well protected by the arms of the kings of the Kuru dynasty, I see you grieving with tears in your eyes. Up till now, no one on earth has ever shed tears because of royal negligence. Purport. The protection of the lives of both the human beings and the animal is the first and foremost duty of a government. A government must not discriminate in such principle. It is simply horrible for a pure-hearted soul to see organized animal killing by the state in this age of Kali. Maharaj Parikshit was lamenting for the tears in the eyes of the bull, and he was astonished to see such an unprecedented thing in his good kingdom. Men and animals were equally protected as far as life was concerned. This is the way in God's kingdom. Hari Bol.
Yeah.
So Mataji, so it seems like in his kingdom, it was very unusual to even see tears in the eyes of animal, not even about like human, like not even animals would be like in sufferings. So it was very much. He himself was in tears to see what happened to that, and because he's the king supposed to be protecting not only human but even the animals.
Yeah, so this is the line here. The protection of the lives of the protection of the lives of both the human beings and the animals is the first and foremost duty of a government. So because we know that Krishna is our protector and maintainer, and these kings and the administrative heads who are giving rulers and who are giving the protection to who should actually, because they are representative of the Lord, right? So they should be doing this duty of giving proper protection and maintenance of all living entities. So that is what we heard in the descriptions when we heard about Yudhishthir Maharaj being enthroned and then Parikshit Maharaj, right? All right, so let's move on to the next verse. Somebody wants to read?
Yeah, Mataji, I can read. Na jatu kauravendranam dordanda parirambhite bhutale nupatanye asmin vinate praninam suchaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Now, for the first time in a kingdom well protected by the arms of the kings of the Kuru dynasty, I see you grieving with tears in your eyes. Up till now, no one on the earth.
This next verse, 9.
Oh, sorry, Mataji.
Yeah, that one was read by.
Okay, sorry, Mataji.
It's okay.
Masaurabheyatra sucho vyate tute vrasalad bhayam marodhir amba bhadram te kalanam mai shastrari. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. O son of Surabhi, you need lament no longer now. There is no need to fear this low-class Shudra. And O mother cow, as long as I am living as the ruler and subduer of all envious men, there is no cause for you to cry. Everything will be good for you. Purport. Protection of bulls and cows and all other animals can be possible only when there is a state ruled by an executive head like Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit addresses the cow as mother, for he is a cultured, twice born Kshatriya king. Surabhi is the same name of the cows which exist in the spiritual planets and are especially reared by Lord Sri Krishna himself. As men are made after the form and features of the Supreme Lord, so also the cows are made after the form and the feature of Surabhi cows in the spiritual kingdom. In the material world, the human society gives all protection to the human beings, but there is no laws to protect the descendants of Surabhi, who can give all protection to men by supplying the miracle food, milk. But Maharaj Parikshit and the Pandavas were fully conscious of the importance of the cow and bull, and they were prepared to punish the cow killer with all chastisement, including death. There has sometimes been agitation for the protection of the cow, but for want of pious executive heads and suitable laws, the cow and the bulls are not given protection. There has sometimes been agitation for the protection of the cows, but for want of pious executive heads and suitable laws, the cow and the bull are not given protection. The human society should recognize the importance of the cow and the bull and thus give all protection to these important animals, following in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit. For protecting the cow and Brahminical culture, the Lord, who is very kind to the cows and the Brahmanas, Go Brahmanaya Hitaya Cha, Hitaya Cha, will be pleased with us and will bestow upon us real peace. Haribol.
Haribol. Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, so basically in this verse, Maharaj Parikshit, he does not just protect the people of his kingdom. He gives the equal protection for the cows also, and that cow, which is being related as the mother, or sorry, yeah. So in spiritual world, like how we come with this with the same form as our like how Sri Krishna is, we are also in the same kind of a form. The similarly, even the cows also are nothing but that they are there is spiritual, in the spiritual world there is Surabhi cow, they also we come like that with the same form and the features. So therefore it is very important to even give the cow protection, in the cow and bull protection, what Prabhupada saying. And like Maharaj Parikshit and how Pandavas, they were very, they gave a lot of importance for the cow and bull protection. If somebody, if there was any cow killer, they used to give
So, yeah. So this
yeah, Mataji.
that okay. One very important point in this verse is that like just a child, when the child is being threatened by somebody, and the parent or some elderly person comes and give the child assurance that okay, you don't need to worry about, I'll take care of it, right? So that's what how Parikshit Maharaj is addressing the cow and the bull here, right? That he is giving them assurance, and that I am going to protect you, I am going to take care of you. So then all that fear and anxiety and everything goes away from the child. And the second point in the purport that Srila Prabhupada makes is about that Krishna is, what is the pranam mantra for Krishna? Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. So for Krishna, the cow and the Brahmanas are very, very, very important. In the Bhagavatam, we will read that multiple places how Krishna regards the Brahmanas and cows actually. So if so then, like if something is very dear to, like for example, for a parent, if somebody wants a favor from somebody, from some big man, if we do some favor to his favorite things, like for example his children, right? If we take care of his child or talk to them nicely, then they will become favorable to us, right? They will be mercy. So if we need to attract Krishna's mercy, then we need to do those things that Krishna likes. We need to be in the, like earlier we read that sentence in the purport, that if we are malleable to the will of the Lord or the interest of the Lord, then we can get the mercy of the Lord in any way we want, right? So this is whatever Krishna likes, if we our interest is also the same interest, then we will attract the mercy of the Lord. And we know what is Krishna's favorite, cow and Brahmanas. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Itaya Cha Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Let's read the next verse.
I can read, Mataji.
Okay.
Text 11. Yashra Rashtre Prajaha Sarvas Trashyanti Sadvi Ashadubhihi Tasya Mattasya Nashyanti Kirtir Ayur Bhago Gatihi. Translation and purport.
There is the next.
Esha Rajnam Paro Dharmo Hi Arthanam Harti Nigraha Ata Enam Vadishyami Bhuta Druham Ashatha Mam
Asattamam.
Asattamam. Translation purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Yeah.
O chaste one, the king's good name, duration of life and good rebirth, vanish when all kinds of living beings are terrified by miscreants in his kingdom. It is certainly the prime duty of the king to subdue first the suffering of those who suffer. Therefore, I must kill the most wretched man because he is violent against other living beings. Purport. When there is some disturbance caused by wild animals in a village or town, the police or others take action to kill them. Similarly, it is the duty of the government to kill at once all bad social elements such as thieves, dacoits, and murderers. The same punishment is also due to animal killers because the animals of the states are also the praja. Praja means one who has taken birth in the state, and this includes both men and animals. Any living beings who take birth in a state has the primary right to live under the protection of the king. The jungle animals are also subject to the king, and they also have right to live. So what to speak of domestic animals like the cows and bulls? Any living beings, if it terrifies other living beings, is the most wretched subject, and the king should at once kill such a disturbing element. As the wild animal is killed when it creates disturbances, similarly, any man who unnecessarily kills or terrifies the jungle animals or other animals must be punished at once by the law of Supreme Lord. All the living beings, in whatever shape they may be, are the sons of the Lord, and no one has any right to kill other animals unless it is so ordered by the code of natural law. The tiger can kill a lower animal for his substances, but a man cannot kill any animal for his substances. That is the law of the God.
Subsistence. The word is subsistence.
Subsistence, yeah. Oh, yeah. Cannot kill the animal of his subsistence. That is the law of the God who has created the law that a living being subsists by eating another living being. Thus, the vegetarians are also living by eating other living beings. Therefore, the law is that one should live only by eating specific living beings as ordained by the law of God. The Ishopanishads directs that one should live by the direction of the Lord and not at one's sweet will. A man can subsist on varieties of grains, fruits, and milk obtained by God, and there is no need of animal food save and except in particular cases. The illusion king or executive head, even though sometimes advertised as a great philosopher and learned scholar, will allow slaughterhouses in the state without knowing that torturing poor animals clear the way to hell for such foolish kings or executive heads. The executive heads must always be alert to the safety of the prajas, both man and animal, and inquire whether a particular living being has harassed at any place by another living being. The harassing living being must at once be caught and put to death, as shown by the Maharaj Parikshit. Anybody can read it.
Yeah. So it's a big purport. Someone wants to read?
I can read Mataji.
Yeah, I can read what.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Kalpana.
को वृश्चत तब
Haribol, the purport.
Oh, sorry, Mataji.
I think somebody else can read.
Shh. What happened?
You want?
It's okay. Yeah, Bhagavati Prabhu, you can.
The people's government or government by the people should not allow killing of innocent animals by the sweet will of foolish government men. They must know the codes of God as mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Maharaj Parikshit quotes here that according to the codes of God, the irresponsible king or state executive jeopardizes his good name, duration of life, power and strength, and ultimately his progressive march towards a better life and salvation after death. Such foolish men do not even believe in the existence of next life. While commenting on this particular verse, we have in our presence the statement of a great modern politician who has recently died and left his will, which discloses here his poor fund of knowledge of the codes of God mentioned by Maharaj Parikshit. The politician was so ignorant of the codes of God that he writes, I do not believe in any such ceremonies, and to submit to them, even as a moderate form, would be hypocrisy and an attempt to delude ourselves and others. I have no religious sentiment in this matter. Contrasting these statements of a great politician in the modern age with those of Maharaj Parikshit, we find a vast difference. Maharaj Parikshit was pious according to the scriptural codes, whereas the modern politician goes by his personal belief and sentiments. Any great man of the material world is, after all, conditioned soul. He is bound by his hands and feet by the ropes of material nature, and still the foolish conditioned soul thinks of himself as free to act by his whimsical sentiments. The conclusion is that people in the time of Maharaj Parikshit were happy and the animals were given proper protection because the executive head was not whimsical or ignorant of God's law. Foolish, faithless creatures tried to avoid the existence of the Lord and proclaim themselves secular at the cost of valuable human life. The human life is especially meant for knowing the signs of God, but foolish creatures, especially in this age of Kali, instead of knowing God scientifically, make propaganda against religious belief as well as the existence of God, even though they are always bound by the laws of God by the symptoms of birth, death, old age, and disease.
Very good. You want to say something?
Yeah, so here Parikshit Maharaj is telling, I believe he's telling the cow that a king, the duty of the king that he should take care of all living beings. And if they are not being protected, all living beings are not protected in the kingdom, the duration of life and good birth will vanish. So he's saying that he will kill this Shudra who's trying to be violent against these living beings. And Prabhupada in this purport is mentioning that when we say the king's duty is to protect, Praja means anybody who is born in that nation. It doesn't mean just the human beings. It also means all the living beings. So the king should protect all the Praja. And then Prabhupada further mentions that it is necessary that a living being kills another living being for his food, but so a tiger can kill a deer or other animal for food, because that's his food, natural food. But for human beings, we're supposed to live on the food which is ordained by God. So we cannot and eat other animals. We are supposed to eat on plants, grains. So then Prabhupada is mentioning that that in the modern world, the people are whimsical, the government is whimsical, they try to be secular, they don't believe in the scriptures, they try to just make up their own rules, and this is getting us towards more into the Kali. But if you contrast that with Maharaj Parikshit, the people at that time were happy because he was not whimsical, he was following the God's law. And the people today, they think themselves as God, they think they are supreme, they have all the power, but they forget that we are bound by the material world. We are under this influence of birth, death, old age, and disease, and only way to get out of is this, to take the shelter of the Supreme Lord. That's all.
Yeah. So the main thing here, if we read the translation very carefully, then what Parikshit Maharaj is saying, that because he is knowledgeable about the religious principles and the scriptures, so he is saying that if under some kingdom, some ruler, if there is somebody is a miscreant and he's creating the suffering for the other, then what happens? The king is responsible for that, right? That pastime of, you remember Arjuna, that Brahmana, sons of Brahmana were getting killed, that pastime. And then this Brahmana actually said, was blaming the king, the rulership of Yudhishthir Maharaj. And then Arjuna said that if I cannot save your child, then you kill me, right? I will commit a suicide or you kill me. Then Krishna then says that how could you speak like that, Arjuna? Right? And then Arjuna was not able to protect, even though he protected the whole house of the Brahmana outside, but still the son of the Brahmana was taken away. And then Krishna, because Krishna loves his devotees, Bhaktavatsala, he didn't want that Arjuna gives up his life. So he takes him to the abode of Mahavishnu, right? And then Mahavishnu says, because I wanted to say the form of Krishna, that's why I was the one taking away the sons of the Brahmana. So basically, because this is a responsibility, the same point that we were discussing few sessions back, that if we are given, like Parikshit Maharaj himself, because he was given the kingdom, so he didn't have to fight, right? But he was actually showing his capabilities, that he has that responsibility. So same way, if like whatever, we are human beings, so we have some responsibility, and the rulers, those who are in the leadership position, they have responsibilities. So with the position comes responsibility. And the position of rulership is that they have the responsibility to make sure that nobody is a miscreant. If there is somebody and the others are suffering, the result will come to the kings. So that is the karmic reaction, which is very, very complex. So he was aware of all this. So that is why because if we are aware of the rules and regulations and the religious principles and everything, then we will be careful, right? Out of fear, out of duty, or out of love, we will follow 3 ways, right? But Parikshit Maharaj is a devotee, so it's not that he's out of fear he wants to follow, but he wants to follow out of his love and compassion for all living entities, right? And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is speaking about the contrast, and Isopanishad says that, whatever is our quota, that is what we should take, not otherwise. Yeah, that one, Isavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tene taktena bhunjita ma kasyasvit dhanam, something, last line I'm forgetting. So meaning whatever is our quota, that is the only thing we should accept. But and then in next verse in his Upanishad, it says that if we live our life that way, then we can live peacefully for hundreds of years. But if we don't, then we are Atmahas. We are the killer of the soul. If we encroach on the property of somebody else, then we are the Atmahas, the killer of the soul. Means killer is and the soul is eternal. It does not die, but meaning we are not fulfilling the purpose of the soul, basically, if we are encroaching on the property of others, if we are living a materialistic life. So let's see how we get this. Should we do this? Because we just have 5 minutes, don't want to go over time. If somebody wants to share something, please share.
Mataji, I had a question on this.
Yeah.
On the prior purport.
This one, the 10-11 before.
It was, no, this 10-11.
10-11, yeah.
Yeah, Prabhupada is talking about a politician, and I don't.
Oh, this politician here.
Yeah.
Here, yeah, this one. Contrasting these statements of a great politician in modern. So yeah, what, Prabhu?
Yeah, I don't know who is that. Somebody, American president or somebody?
I don't know.
Okay.
Somebody, all of them are like that. No, you can tag anyone. So there is none who is not like that. I do not believe in any such ceremonies and to submit to them, even as a matter of form, would be hypocrisy and an attempt to delude ourselves and others. I have no religious sentiment in the matter. Yeah. It's so sad, right?
So sad, even at that level.
Yeah. So anybody else have anything to share? It's just 3-4 minutes. So how is everybody's first day of Kartik went?
Good, Mataji.
Good, Mataji.